Namaste, it's Jackie. I'm happy to be with you again. We're going to do a gentle yoga practice today. So, for most of what we're going to do today, we're going to be on the floor, lying down. So, get yourself a yoga mat, and a couple of things I'd like you to have is perhaps a towel or a blanket to pad your knees. We'll do a few things on hands and knees. And then I have two yoga blocks here, or you could have like two towels or two pillows that are kind of firm. So something we'll use to prop up our legs at the end. So you can get a couple of things. You'll want to be able to have them even on both sides. So go ahead and get yourself set up. You can put your mat out on the floor. You'll want enough room to lie down and stretch your arms over your head. And you could close the door of the room that you're in, turn off your devices, give yourself a little bit of time. This would be a nice practice to do at the end of the day, or if you're just feeling a little overwhelmed or stressed, this would be one to kind of come back to over and over again. So this is going to be a nice relaxing practice. So please make your way onto your back and take a moment to lie down and get yourself oriented. Just you want to kind of get a sense of where you are in the space where you are right now. Take a moment to stretch your arms over your head and make sure you have room. And you can just do some kind of reaching, stretching here, spreading the fingers, noticing the shoulders and the lengthening feeling along the sides of the body as you reach your arms up over your head. And then bring your arms down. Have your knees bent here. So if you're not already lying with your knees bent, pull your feet up flat. And then take your hands and wrap them around your shoulders. And we're going to pat ourselves on the back and welcome ourselves to our mat and do a little swaying and rocking here. Side to side, maybe noticing the sensations like you're massaging your upper back. And then switch the way you're crossing your arms and do that again. Just a little pat on the back, tapping and rocking and welcoming yourself. Saying, I'm so glad to be here with you. And then let your arms come down. Let your shoulders and your neck get comfortable. And then we're going to pull the feet up off of the floor. So pick up your feet one at a time. This is super helpful if you have any issues in your hips or SI joints. And start with some ankle circles and add wrist circles. So joint rotations are super nice and soothing. It's cold here today, so soothing joint rotations. And then you can begin to let your legs move. So that might be swaying side to side. You might think about massaging your low back. That might be circling your knees around. They may go in the two knees might go the same direction. Or maybe you can do like little different movements with the two legs, kind of playfully circling them around, getting a little movement in your hips. And then lower your feet to the floor. We're going to let the legs rest, and we're just going to take a few breaths to settle. So for many people, it's nice to have the feet a little bit apart and the knees touching. See what's nice for you. You can rest your hands on your belly or on the floor beside you. Again, whatever feels comfortable. And then just let your eyes glance around the space that you're in. You want to get oriented. And then either let your eyes rest on one spot or close your eyes. And we're going to take 2 breaths with a nice, good sigh. So we're going to breathe out through the mouth. So wherever you are in your breath cycle, please inhale. And then good sigh. And do that once again. Inhale. And then a good sigh. And then just take a moment to scan your body, to sense your body from your head down to your feet. So feel where your head is supported by the floor, any sensations in your neck or shoulders, or maybe any little adjustment you can make to get a little more comfortable. And then letting your attention move down the hips and into the legs, and just checking in. And then let your eyes open, just blink them open gently, and pick your feet up off of the floor one at a time. And we're going to bring our hands to rest on the kneecaps. So have your fingers pointing down toward your toes. And this movement is really simple. It's mostly about our breath and a little bit of lengthening in the low back.
So on the exhale, bend your elbows so that the knees draw in towards your belly, and see how you feel that, where you feel that in your back. And then inhale, extend the arms so the knees rock away. You can take a nice slow breath here. We're going to do that a few times. So exhale, bend your elbows. Inhale. And what you want to think about here is letting your breath lengthen so that the inhales are a little longer and the exhales are a little slower. And then the movement is just coordinating with your nice smooth breath. So inhale, let your arms extend. Exhale, let your elbows bend. It's fine if you have your knees together. It's fine if you have your knees wider, whatever's comfortable for you. So do one more repetition. Exhale, and when you get to the inhale, let your left foot and your left arm come down to the floor. We're going to do the movement with just our right side, and we're going to add something different with the other side. So on the exhale, please bend your right elbow so you feel your knee draw in towards your chest. And on the inhale, as the right arm lengthens, the knee moves away, let your left arm reach up over your head to the floor behind you. And as you exhale, bend your right elbow, lower that left arm back down, and turn your head over to the left side. And do that again. Inhale, left arm floats up, so let your head roll to the center as the right knee moves away. And then exhale, right elbow bends, left arm lowers, head turns to the left. One more time. Inhale, nice and slow. And exhale. Now, please keep your head turned, and on your inhale, let your right foot and your right hand come down to the floor, palms down. And on your next inhale, push your right hand into the mat. And then when you exhale, relax the right side, right shoulder, right elbow, and let your head roll to the center. And just notice the two sides for a moment. So that movement's not hard, but it makes you do different things with the two sides of your body. So let's take the left knee up now. So put your left hand on your left kneecap. Then on the exhale, we're going to bend the left elbow. So that knee draws in toward your chest. And on your inhale, as the left knee moves away, right arm goes up over your head. That's the in-breath. On the exhale, lower your arm, turn your head as you bend your left elbow. And do that again. Inhale, left knee moves away, right arm lifts, roll your head to the center. Exhale, lower your arm, bend your left elbow, turn your head. Now, this was the one we're going to hold with the head turned. So just lower slowly your left leg and your left hand to the floor. And when you inhale, push the left hand into the floor. And when you exhale, soften the whole left arm, elbow, shoulder, and your neck, and let your head roll to the center and notice. Now make sure your legs are comfortable here on the floor. You may want to have the feet a little bit apart and the knees touching. And then we're going to inhale both arms up over our head to the floor behind. And exhale both arms down. Hug your belly in here. I'm just noticing the two sides now. Inhale. And exhale. And once your hands are down on the floor, close your eyes for just a moment and pause. And just see if you are aware of any sensations. Or maybe just some softening in your mouth or your neck. And then please open your eyes, and we're going to roll over to one side and use your hands to push yourself up. And we're going to come on to hands and knees for the next part. And this is where you might want to use something to pad your knees. So I've got a couple of blankets here. I'm going to put the blanket under my knees, but get what you need. And we're going to come to the tabletop position here. Spreading the fingers wide, place your wrists right under your shoulders, stack your hips up over your knees. And on your in-breath, lift your chest and your eyes, and let the elbows bend just a tiny bit here. And on your exhale, start to pull the belly in so your back rounds, and then fold back to child's pose, letting your elbows touch and your head sink down. Maybe it even touches the floor. And then glide back up on your in-breath. And do that again. Exhale. Come up on your inhale. All right, we're going to do some movements with our legs here. So exhale back to child's pose, pulling in the belly. As you rise up on your in-breath, take your right leg back, lift your chest. Exhale, lower the knee down and fold back. We're going to switch over to the other side. So left leg, inhale. And down on your exhale. We'll do each side one more time. Again, just letting your slow breath lift you up. And you want to lift that right leg with the toes pointing down and the chest can rise a little. And then lower your knee down smoothly. Pull your belly in as you sink back. And then the left leg, again, toes pointing down so you're flexing the foot and the chest can lift. Exhale down. We'll do one more to each side. If you like, you can add the opposite arm. But since we're being gentle today, if you don't want to do that today, maybe you just keep your hands on the floor. And then exhale down, fold back. Inhaling through the nose as you rise. Exhaling through the nose as you fold back. And then one time, just come up to all fours. And on this exhale, put your elbows down on the floor. And we're just going to let the hips sway here in this puppy pose. One way to make the sensations in the hips more interesting in this movement is to bring your knees closer together. For some people, that's really interesting. For some people, it's not. Another thing you could do is take your hands forward and lower your forehead closer to the floor, as long as that feels okay for your shoulders and your neck. And then push yourself back up to all fours. And for a bit, we're going to come to lie down on our belly. So you probably will be comfortable lying right down on the floor. If you feel it's tender, your hip points are a little tender when you lie on the floor on your belly, you can certainly pad your hip points. And then come on down to your onto the stomach, and you can rest your head down. Maybe you put your hands under your head. I kind of got my head lifted so I don't mess up the microphone, but you could stack up the palms of your hands, a yoga block maybe under your forehead or a blanket, and just let your hips woggle. And then even bend the knees and let the feet sway side to side and see how that feels. You just want to go slow and be really curious. This is, typically we don't lie on our stomach that much, so how does it feel for you? And then lower your feet to the floor. Let your head rest comfortably. We're going to do some leg lifts here. So when you get to your next inhale, please lift your right leg up off of the floor. You want to lift as much as you can the thigh without letting your hip bone come up. And then slowly exhale it down. And then do left leg. Inhale. Slowly lower it down. We'll do each leg one more time. So you want to think about lengthening the leg as you lift it. Try to keep that hip bone on the floor. And slowly lower it down. And then lift on the inhale, left leg. And slowly lower it down. And then we'll add the arms here. I'll give you two options for the arm position. First one is to just stretch your arms out in front of you, a bit wider than your shoulders. We'll call this a superhero pose. If your shoulders don't like that, have your elbows bent. You can do like cactus arms here. That would be fine too. So we're going to lift opposite arm and legs. As you inhale, lift your right leg, and then the left arm can lift too. And think about the space between your hand and your foot that's lifted. And exhale down. And then left leg and right arm, and you can keep your head down on the floor or lift your head, whatever you like. Exhale down. This one we're going to try to hold each side for one breath. So inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale, stay. Inhale, get a little more length. And then exhale down. And please do this with your own breath pace. So you can certainly hold longer or come down sooner if you'd like. Inhale, left leg, right arm, inhale. Stay on the exhale. Stay on the inhale, get a little longer.
Exhale, come down. And then one more thing here on our stomach, we're going to push up onto the elbows. And see if you can stack your elbows up underneath your shoulders. I like to wrap my hands around the outsides of the upper arms. This helps to kind of line up those joints. And tops of the feet on the floor. And then walk your hands out in front of you so the forearms are parallel. We're going to really push the hands down into the mat. On the inhale, as you push your hands down, feel your spine, your chest lift. And on your exhale, just stay and hug your belly in. Inhale, push your hands down, feel your chest lift. And exhale, this time, lower your chin. Inhale, push the hands down, lift the chest, let your chin come up to neutral position. You don't have to lift it. And do that again. Exhale, tuck your chin, pull your belly in. Now inhale, lift your chest, neutral head, neutral neck, and exhale, stay where you are. And this inhale, lift your chest and let your head turn to one side. Let your eyes just scan that side of the room. And then exhale back to the center, hug your belly in. Hands firm. Inhale, legs firm too. Your kneecaps might be lifted here. Exhale, center, pull your belly in. We're going to turn the head to each side one more time. So inhale. Slowly turn. Exhale, back to the center, hug your belly in. One more inhale, push your hands down. Feel your chest lift as you turn your head and your eyes. Exhale, back. And then inhale, back down to the floor. And then slowly use your hands to push yourself back to child's pose. We want to get a little rounding in the back here. If you find it helpful, you may want to put that padding back underneath your knees. Come back to a position where you can hold and round the low back. And you might be on your elbows and rocking here. You might be resting your forehead on your hands or even on a yoga block. And just do a little gentle rocking. So I'm going to put my forehead on this yoga block here. You want to get your head supported by something, your head, your hands, a block, a book. And let your hips rock gently. You could have your knees apart here. That may be nice. And then notice if your neck is rocking too, or not. And then see if you can let your head and your hips sway in opposite directions. And you might perhaps have a little pressure right on the forehead or that third eye point as you rock. And then stop rocking and just be still for a moment and let your arms relax anywhere that's comfortable. Some people like them back beside the feet. That can be nice too. Maybe a sigh as you settle. And then please gently push yourself back up to hands and knees. Okay, and just to follow those back bends we did on the floor, I'm going to do that tabletop to child's pose position again. So inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, rounding back, belly in. Just take a slow journey back and then a slow trip back up. Lift your chest, lift your eyes. Now this time as you go back on the exhale, we're going to let the hands move forward a little bit further forward and wider. And on the inhale, come up. And we're going to do this variation of the upward dog pose. So we're going to let the shoulders come over the wrist and the hips sink forward some amount. Don't go all the way. Hold back a little bit. Exhale back all the way to child's pose. We'll do that a couple of times. So your slow breath. Be curious about your back. Keep a little bend in the elbows. And again, hold back a little bit so your abdomen is engaged. Exhale back. You might notice if you have pets, your cats and dogs, you might notice how many times a day they do this movement. If we just did it with them every time they did it, we'd probably have happier backs. Exhale back. Pause again in child's pose. You might like keeping your hands forward. You might rest your head on your hands or your block again, or even tuck your hands back beside your feet. And breathe. Any rocking that feels good.
And then please come up carefully and come back to lie on your back. And you can maybe put something under your neck if you need to. I'm going to lie comfortably. And this is where I'd like you to have that support. So I've got, again, 2 blocks here. If you have pillows, towels, whatever you got 2 of, have them handy. You can put 1 on each side of your body. And then come to lie down on your back. And it may feel nice to give your upper back a hug again and rock, pat yourself on the back. Switch the way you're crossing your arms, another little rocking and patting. And then we're going to start with the knees bent and have your feet pretty close to your body and the heels right in line with your hip bones. And then line up your spine. That includes your neck, so you should be looking toward the ceiling. And bring your hands palms down by your sides. And we're going to do the bridge pose a few times. So on the in-breath, we're going to lift both hips up off of the floor, and you can just gently push through your feet. It doesn't matter how high you go, just see what feels comfortable. And let your exhale bring you down. I'd like you to focus a little more attention on your exhale as we do that a couple more times. So inhale, let your hips rise. And then a nice slow exhale to come down. Hug your abdomen in, hug your belly in on the way down. Even pausing for just a second when the weight of your body is on the floor. And then when your inhale happens naturally, just lift back up. Exhale back down. Now we're going to do a variation of that and something different with our arms. So on the inhale, as you lift up, lift your arms up over your head to the floor behind you. And we're going to keep our arms up over our head as you exhale, the hips back down. Even a slight pause when the weight of the body is on the floor, and then when your inhale happens, naturally lift back up. You could lengthen the arms or push the backs of the hands into the floor. And then a slow exhale down. Slow inhale up, pushing or reaching backs of the hands on the floor up there. Slow exhale down. And you may prefer to stay down here. You could lower your arms, hug your knees into your chest, or you could, on the next inhale, lift and hold. You can hold with your arms up over your head if you like it, or you can bring your arms back down by your sides and maybe push your elbows down to feel a little more lift in your chest. Breathing wherever you are. And if you're still up in the pose, please let the next exhale bring you down. And if you haven't already, draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a little hug. Do those little nice joint rotations again. Maybe swaying, rocking, circling, maybe a little shake of the hands, a little shake of the legs. While your feet are still off the floor, bring your hands to your kneecaps. If you remember the little movement we did at the very beginning, on the exhale, we were having the elbows bend. And on the inhale, the arms rock away. So repeat that a few times and maybe explore letting your head turn to the sides as you do the movement. So your head might come to the center on the inhale and turn on the exhale as the knees draw in, or any other way you want to move your head. So I want you to be a little bit playful with thinking about moving your head. And then you could try also, and this will be, you just breathe normally when you do this, you could kind of pedal your legs, let one knee bend, one leg move away, and you can kind of move your neck around. You could even let your feet come wider, so there's a little rocking there. So just be a little playful. Let things move. It's also kind of good for your brain to do different things on the 2 sides of the body. And then please lower your feet to the floor. Let your feet rest so you could have your feet apart and your knees touching, and maybe rest your hands on your belly. And take a moment to just get as comfortable as you can here, and evening up your neck, shoulders, hips. And then while your hands are resting on your belly here, we're going to kind of refine the breath just a little bit. So hands on the belly, take an inhale. I'd like you to feel the breath in your chest here. You can push your elbows down, feel that lifting of your chest. And on your exhale, hug your belly in. You can push the back of your ribs into the floor. You just want to feel some hugging engagement where your hands are touching, and do that again. Inhale. And then belly in, exhale. We're going to incorporate a leg movement into that type of breathing. So with your knees bent, now walk your feet and your knees together so they're all touching. And you can keep your hands on your belly here, or you could stretch them out shoulder height, palms up, whichever feels nice. I like my hands on my belly because it helps me focus on my breath a little bit more. So when you inhale the next time, feel the breath in your chest and let your two knees go out to the sides. Any amount. You can roll over onto the edges of your feet, the little toe side. And when you exhale, pull your knees together, hug your belly in. So you should feel a little flattening of that lumbar curve. Do that again. Inhale, let your knees open out to the sides. Feel the breath in your chest. Exhale, draw the belly in as you lift your knees back to the center. Okay, now inhale, let them open. And when you exhale, we're going to lift the knees halfway up. So whatever that range of movement was for you, lift your knees halfway, pull your belly in. And on your inhale, let them open back out to the sides. And repeat that again. Exhale, knees lift halfway up. If you feel a little quivering in your legs, that's fine. Inhale. It's actually good. Okay, now do half of that. So exhale, lift your knees just a tiny bit toward the ceiling, pull your belly in. And inhale, let them open back out. Exhale again. Lift your knees a tiny bit, pull your belly in. Inhale, let them open, and now we're going to hold. So for this part, you can let the soles of the feet come together to touch, and this is where I really encourage you to use this support under your legs. Now what you may be thinking is like, well, if I put that there right under your femur bones, those upper leg bones, then I don't really feel as much stretch in my inner thighs. That's true. So when you let the leg just hang out in space and the weight of the leg is pulling on those muscles, the muscles actually contract because they're working against that pulling. If you put some support up under your legs so that you just let the weight of your legs be supported, kind of up under the hip where you can feel the weight of your legs on whatever you've got there, then the muscles can actually release. They can actually soften for a bit. If this hurts your knees, just bend your knees less, move your feet further away from you. Find a position where you can hold for a bit. And you may feel softening in your lower abdomen, maybe the hip flexors, maybe the inner thighs. You could stretch your arms out. I like, for this position, kind of wide arms, nice open chest. Cactus arms can be nice if it doesn't bother your shoulders. And then, as long as you're comfortable, and the goal is to be comfortable here, so you can prop the legs up higher, depending on how it feels for you. Want it to be comfortable. Just see if you can soften or close your eyes and take a few rounds of breath with a nice long exhale or even a nice long sigh. So please inhale. And a couple more like that. Big inhale. You might even imagine the sound ah. One more. And then you can stay for a few more breaths like this. Now, for some people, there is a little back bend here, and for some people, this isn't the greatest, isn't comfortable. So if that's the case for you, again, we're going to lie for just a little bit longer. You could bring your feet back up flat and let your feet be apart and your knees touch. That will also soften the inner thighs. So either position is fine, whichever you like. Feel the weight of your body, feel the weight of your legs, supported by whatever you've got there. And feel the weight of your arms, the weight of your head. This is one of the poses in yogas that we refer to as restorative. So think about that word restorative. Gives you back energy. Nice to do at the end of the day, nice to do before you go to bed. You might try to just focus your attention on your breath here. So now on your next exhale, you can let the knees come back together if you still have them out to the sides, and you can just move those supports out of the way. And then bring your knees into your chest and rock, massaging your back. Again, there is a little back bend in that movement, so this could feel pretty good. You could just reach the legs up slowly one at a time. We didn't do very many things extending the legs today, so you could reach them up or out to the sides. See how that feels. And then we're going to make our way into Shavasana, into the relaxation pose. So a few options for that. One is to put your legs back out in that position and hold them there with that support under your legs. Another one is to let the legs be supported, and you may have pillows or something here, which you could place under your knees. I'm going to show you a way you could use the yoga blocks here. You can put the 2 yoga blocks here and your blanket top of the yoga blocks. And then when you rest, you've got this nice support under the knees. This is, again, restful for the legs. Feels quite nice, so see what's good for you. Find the tools that help you. Maybe you're a little chilly and you'd like to put a blanket on top of you. I like one over my belly. So, give yourself a really cozy, warm, comfortable Shavasana. Maybe you like putting something under your head. You could roll up a little towel for a neck roll. And soften or close your eyes. And now, like we did at the beginning, we'll take a couple of breaths with a sigh to just let go. So please take an in-breath. Let go. Another in-breath. Letting go. So nothing to do now at all except to let the body rest. And you can let go of even trying to control your breath. Just let your breath move normally. Give yourself permission to be still for a bit, to rest the body, to rest the mind. Here's a closing prayer. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. May we all be safe. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all live with ease. May we all live in peace. So I encourage you to stay in your resting pose for another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you fall asleep, just stay. If you are challenged, if it feels like you need to hop right up off the floor, get on with your day, try to stay for 12 breaths. It's a good little tool to just count 12 breaths and see if you can let yourself be still for that long. There's so many benefits to a little stillness, a little rest. I look forward to seeing you next time. Please feel free to repeat this practice anytime you need a little care, a little self-care, a little stress relief. Namaste.